Yesterday, there were two major news stories concerning Kyle Lowry. The first one being that he is not getting traded from the Raptors, and the second one meaning that Kyle Lowry is going to retire as a Toronto Raptor. So surely this puts an end to the trade saga. Or does it? Let's get into it. Welcome Raptors fans to Amateur Hour Sports. This is the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want more of myself talking about the Raptors in videos just like this, make sure you hit that like button to help us reach some new viewers and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. We do a ton of Raptors videos. We do a ton of Raptors live streams or things concerning the Raptors in our live streams, but we're doing a cooking stream on Friday if that interests you in any way as part of our charity donation incentive. We're raising money for charity on the channel at the moment. So if that interests you, please check out the stream on Friday. But today we're talking about Kyle Lowry again. I hope this can kind of put an end to a bit of the Kyle Lowry saga, but I know it's not going to put an end to the saga because there's always different variables, different little things being uncovered, different reports coming out concerning Kyle Lowry that won't allow these discussions to stop. Because yesterday, two big things broke out concerning Kyle Lowry, as I mentioned. The first one being Michael Grange of Sportsnet reporting that Kyle Lowry is not going to get traded before the deadline, which made me think that, okay, if they're not going to trade him, then they're definitely thinking that they can keep him beyond this season, because why would they not trade him if they're going to lose him for nothing at the end of the season in the offseason? And then Kyle Lowry had a press conference where he explicitly stated that he wants to retire as a Toronto Raptor. Listen into what he had to say here.
Listen, I would say this: I will retire as a Toronto Raptor. That if I'm here, I will retire as a Toronto Raptor. That's a one-day contract. Hey, whatever happens. What I would like to see is, finish the season out as strong as possible. Whatever happens, happens.
So the dialogue that Kyle Lowry chose in this press conference is pretty interesting because he was as ambiguous as possible while also trying to mention how much he enjoys being a Raptor and how he wants to be a Toronto Raptor. But, if you listen closely, he says whatever happens, he will retire as a Toronto Raptor one day, and also alludes to a possible one-day contract. So this could mean a lot of things. Does Kyle Lowry explicitly say here that he wants to remain a Toronto Raptor for the rest of his career, therefore he would have to retire Toronto Raptor? No, he doesn't. He's just alluding to he wants to retire as a Toronto Raptor. So we could trade Kyle Lowry tomorrow, and at the end of his career, he signs a one-day contract with the Raptors and retires a Raptor, and he would still keep basically his promise that he made in this press conference. This doesn't really clear the air about anything. What clears the air is Michael Grange of Sportsnet talking about how Kyle Lowry will not get traded before the deadline, how we cannot see Kyle Lowry getting traded before the deadline. Now, I can understand that. The Raptors probably have a bit of an asking price for Kyle Lowry, and I'm sure Masai Ujiri feels like he can probably lure Kyle Lowry back in the offseason. But let's talk about this scenario here, the possible trade scenario concerning what Michael Grange had to say. Now, if the Raptors are not going to trade Kyle Lowry before the deadline, I believe it is March 25th, somewhere around there. I believe it's March 25th, though. If they are not going to trade him before the NBA trade deadline, then I think that they must feel like in the offseason they can bring back Kyle Lowry on a decently team-friendly contract. Because why would they not try to cash in on Kyle Lowry? Get something, if not nothing, in return for Kyle Lowry, rather than losing him in the offseason when there are going to be a lot of teams trying to lure him in. There's probably a lot of trade suitors already. Why not go for him for free in the offseason? That's what I feel like a lot of teams are going to be doing. Plus, right now, Kyle Lowry, if you trade for him, he's on a rental contract. He may not even resign with the team that he does get traded to. So he's probably looking elsewhere. He's probably looking at other teams involved in all these sort of endeavors. And the Raptors really need to be aware of all this. So they obviously know more than I do. Maybe they feel like they can bring him back. If they are shutting down trade talks at this present stage with a couple weeks to go before the trade deadline, it seems to me like they feel like he is going to re-sign at the end of the season. I can't see them not trying to cash in here and try to get something rather than nothing. I think it's disappointing that from our championship winning team just like a couple years ago at this point, that the Raptors did not get anything for four of the key pieces to that team. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. We knew they were one-year rentals, and they decided not to stay with the Raptors and went elsewhere. And the last offseason, we lost Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka to free agency as well. So that's four players from the 2019 championship winning team. 4 key players, that is, that walked for free, walked for nothing. And Kyle Lowry has the potential to be the 5th one of that 2019 team to leave for nothing. Now, I think that would look a little bit poor upon the Raptors as an organization. Now, usually we have full faith in Masai, and we still do. I have full faith in Masai. I believe in Masai to make the right decision, but it is bitterly disappointing to lose talented players like this and not get anything in return. So I would really, really be frustrated if Kyle Lowry left in the summer and we did not get anything in return. Now, going back to the press conference, the way Kyle Lowry talks about the Raptors, he wants to be with the Raptors, but also, Kyle Lowry's got a legacy to look after, and he's not getting any younger, and sure, he's already got the NBA championship. And usually what I say about players who have that ring, who have that NBA championship, they can look out for themselves when they are talking about contracts, potential trades, they have a no trade clause potentially, but when they're picking a team to join, they have a lot more of a selection for themselves because they're going to pick what makes them happy. They don't necessarily have to ring chase and take a pay cut. They can get paid by the team that chooses to pay them. They can live in the location that they want to live and play for the organization that they want to play for. There are a lot more variables that they can consider rather than just a simple, okay, is this team going to contend this year? If I go to this team, will I have an opportunity to win the first ring of my career? But Kyle Lowry already has that ring. So we don't know what exactly Kyle Lowry is looking for. I think that if I was Kyle Lowry, I would be looking for money. Money. Kyle Lowry can get a good sum of money at the end of this season. Kyle Lowry can probably look towards getting a 3-year, $25 million a year contract. I feel like some team would give him that. I think that's a bit overpriced for Kyle Lowry, but I think that a team looking at Kyle Lowry will decide that, okay, if we're really going to make this run for a championship, because it's only going to be contender really trying to get him, I think that a team that is a contender will give him that and decide that this is our chance to run for a championship. This is the missing piece, the guy that is a winner on the court who does all these little things during the game to help us succeed, help us win. I think that a contender will give Kyle Lowry that sum of money, and Kyle Lowry will happily take it, and if the Raptors do not give him what he wants, he will happily walk away. Now, in my opinion, for Kyle Lowry, I'm okay with a lot of different scenarios. Again, I'm okay with trading him. You bring in some prospects, you bring in some picks. That is better than losing him for nothing in the offseason. Now, what's also fine is signing him in the offseason to a decently friendly contract. Again, I feel like Kyle Lowry's going to be looking out for some money rather than looking out for a contender, so the Raptors would have to give him money. I'm not as sold on that idea as getting something for him right now, getting prospects, getting picks, getting some other players on longer contracts who can help you over this period with the core of Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Fred VanVleet. And the third option is he walks in free agency to another team. That's a lot of cap space cleared up, but not a ton of great free agents in this free agent class. DeMar DeRozan is someone that comes to mind. Victor Oladipo is somebody that comes to mind. But would DeMar DeRozan want to go back to the team that traded him away and go back to the team that traded him away without Kyle Lowry being there, his best friend being there? Probably not. Victor Oladipo, there's going to be a lot of teams who want to get him. There's a lot of teams who are going to give him offers. So is that a plausible one? Is that a realistic one for the Raptors to bring in? I think it's a lot less risky to move him to the teams that want him. Now, there are a lot of teams who feel like Kyle Lowry is the missing piece of the puzzle. One of those teams being the Philadelphia 76ers, who have some great prospects that they can bring us, like Tyrese Maxey, like Matisse Thybulle, like Shake Milton. I think that would be my best course of action. But also, if Kyle Lowry is going to stay with the Raptors and be with the Raptors for the rest of his career, I won't exactly hate that. I would be fine with that as well, as long as the contract is team friendly. I do not want to be paying a 38-year-old or 37-year-old Kyle Lowry $25+ million. I feel like he's aging like fine wine. He's just getting better with age. He's influencing winning still. He's still being a great player. He's maintaining somewhat of an all-star form. He was an all-star 6 years in a row before this season. I think that the Raptors record hindered his chances of getting into the all-star team again, but I don't know if he can maintain this over a 3-year contract. So, again, we'll see what Masai Ujiri has in store. We'll see what he's saying, because I thought that if Kyle Lowry wanted to retire a Toronto Raptor, and the way he was speaking in the press conference, it made him seem like he would stay, but he would also leave. He's okay with anything, but at the end of his career, he is going to be a Toronto Raptor, and if it has to be on a one-day contract, then so be it. So really, the only thing we learned from yesterday, from the news, from the press conference, from the reports, the only thing that we learned is that Kyle Lowry is probably going to finish this season as a Toronto Raptor. Based on Michael Grange's assessment of the situation, we don't have to worry about a trade happening. So the Raptors still need a big. I would still like them to trade Patrick McCaw in a second-round pick for JaVale McGee, but nothing has come of that. There are no reports of the Raptors chasing any bigs other than Andre Drummond, who I don't think makes sense for this franchise. But Kyle Lowry is here to stay for this season. I really, really hope that we do not lose another key piece in an offseason for nothing in return. And if we do, we got to have a plan to sign a free agent. We got to have a plan to bring a free agent in to replace him. We can't keep losing these guys for free. The team is kind of falling apart. We need to keep this core group of players content with good pieces around them. This core group of VanVleet, Anunoby, and Siakam need the pieces around them to be successful in the future, and we got to help them out as much as possible. So what do you guys make of the Kyle Lowry situation? Do you think he is still going to get traded? Do you think it's just some wild noise? Do you think he's still going to get traded? Do you think he will stay beyond this season? Do you think that he will leave in the offseason? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like the video if you liked at any point to help us reach some new viewers, and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. We got a ton of Raptors videos. We do a ton of Raptors live streams, Raptors related live streams, except for tomorrow. Again, we are doing the How Hungry Is Jacob cooking stream. So be there for a fun time tomorrow night. Stay up to date with all of the live stream content by joining the Discord. The Discord link is in the description as well. You can use the donation button to donate to charity. All donations go to sick kids hospitals and the Canadian Cancer Society. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.